See the microphones work? Get right up one.
Are we already on?
We're on.
We're good to go.
You
Alright.
see, you can move. Just sort of generally get it.
Stuck in. How's it there? Is it?
Yeah. We're all good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Andy It's in the Bonnevilles podcast. With me, Andy It's in the Bonnevilles.
Me, Micky Bartlett, that loves the Bonnevilles.
And Richey Magee.
Richey the boy, Mickey.
Richey the
Cool. So we're sitting here in
Shorts.
shorts.
I've never done a podcast in shorts before.
And we're live from Waikiki Beach, Lurgan, North Lurgan.
Kiki being the operative.
Aye, yeah. So it's really hot, so we decided to do a podcast because Mick's going mad at home and he needed to get out.
Aye. Drove round to it, lived 5 minutes when I drove the car. So I'm mad in isolation at this point.
Yeah. So we're
Regrets driving the
observing
car
social
and
distance. We're observing social distance in order to do this.
Not
So-
like the last time we've done this.
Yeah, we were stuck. We're
Stuck in a cabin.
squeezed up in the studio. Indeed,
Some feed a drink took that day too, boys.
Telling you to stop meeting like this.
I know. I remember that well.
Do
I
you
don't-
have no,
I have no
not
clue.
now. Once a while, a second box of beer, that was it.
So, do we know what we're going to talk about? Do we have any? Was there any reason for this?
I just wanted to see you.
Excuse for a beer.
Aye.
Good.
I came around here going, I'm definitely not drinking because well, I don't know about you guys. Have you been putting the beers away right
Yeah.
and frequent?
Too much. Far
Aye.
too much.
I can't wait for the pubs to open to get a break.
Aye.
I know. I actually, when the pub's open, I'm going to be like, do you have any idea how good I am at drinking now?
Yeah.
Like when the pub goes when it's 1:30, go home. Well, no, we'll drink to 5 now. Well, don't stop until it's all done.
Yeah.
My dad has a wee a beer fridge in his garage because that's the working class dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
An
oh,
extra
yeah.
fridge
It
for
is,
beer.
it's the working
And I emptied it one day, like on my own. And to see a 33-year-old man be all, "I'm well sorry, I got carried away." You'll put that back on, no promise, swear to God. Am I still grounded?
Yeah. But according
You're
to
not allowed to leave the house or the garden.
Boris Johnson says you are.
Perfect
So
timing.
what about the gigging then? The comedy scene.
Gone. I think I've got a couple of ones booked in for. Some booked in for August maybe, but I couldn't see them happening. And I'm trying to hang on to the Ulster Hall show in October.
Yeah.
I think we've got a date booked, like just in case, for next year. But I'm trying to leave it until at least August before we make an
Is it
announcement.
up to you to leave the announcement?
It could be up to me, or it could be the Ulster Hall might not even open. They might just go, "We're not opening until
Yeah.
the new year." But I'm looking at it kind of a selfish way because every other gig in the country's been put back to the new year.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of going, I might be the only show in town.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could sell this bastard out twice.
Absolutely.
So part of me is sort of going, I'll just wait and see. But you just don't know. It's been,
Yeah.
I got me 80%, so I don't give a fuck.
That's good.
Well, it wasn't that good whenever, because obviously I pay all the tax that I'm due to pay as a
Absolutely, you
self-employed person, declare everything.
Yeah.
When they give you 80% of that, you're like, oh fuck.
I know.
Whoops.
I was the same. I was doing gigs in the studio, live gigs, and people were tipping,
Aye.
and that was how I was surviving because it was for 2 months and never got any money, which is it sucked a bit.
Aye.
But then it got me 80%, and I went, oh god,
I know.
it's fucking.
Who needs new trainers?
Get back gigging quick.
That's not a lot.
Aye. Well, that was the thing too, because I was lucky enough that I still had I was on tour with it all when the lockdown happened, so I still had a big chunk of money coming from a lot of shows.
Yeah.
But the 3-month lockdown,
Why? What happened with that? Did you get squared up?
I got squared up for some of them. So I haven't got squared up for a lot of them. Yes,
I remember that.
So there's been a few sort of smaller venues that I don't know. The lads in charge of the promotion are chasing it up.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough that just at the start of it, I kind of got a wee chunk of money to keep me going.
Aye.
And even like everything's closed, you're not because I'm not gigging, I'm not spending as much money traveling. But you still find yourself going, how the fuck did I spend $1,000?
Yeah.
And I live with my ma.
I travel.
Now, it might be something.
Back and
to
forth to the office,
exactly.
we've already established
It might
this.
be something to the fact
Rat
that
with a green bin.
I watched The Last Dance and started buying basketball tops. It might have been that. Sitting in the front garden with a Michael Jordan top on, it doesn't fit because I forgot I put weight on.
And you're not you're
I'm
not a
Michael
6'8"
Jordan.
black
I know,
man.
yeah. Not yet.
Not yet.
I identify as one though, Andy, and that's the important bit.
Identify as one. Class.
That's only half a fucking Guinness he's had.
The boys are back in town.
Here, what about so all the comedy clubs are closed, obviously.
Aye.
And so we're looking at December for everyone to start reopening.
That's what they've said. They've mentioned December because I think comedy clubs and theatres are going to be stage 5. So they've said that could be December. I'm sort of half hoping that. I'm just trying to stay optimistic. I'm going, it'll be by October, be grand. But then the last time we did a podcast, I remember saying the words, it'll not last 3 weeks.
Fuck. I remember.
Wrong.
I did two podcasts in the same. I did a podcast, and 7 days later I did another podcast. And I remember, and the first thing I said in the second podcast was, I apologise because I said the week before it's just a fucking flu.
Aye, I know.
And
I was
then a week later I was like, nah.
Aye.
You're a dick.
Aye. There's so much of it that's fucking. There's still wee weird bits where I'm going, well, that doesn't make sense. Because I've heard of like 85-year-old people getting it.
Yeah.
And then a day later not having it.
Yeah.
There's definitely.
I
think there was a certain amount of fear at the start where people are going, you definitely have it, you have it. And then they test you and go, oh no.
Well, I think
you've got hay fever. But it definitely is fucking way worse than I thought it was, no doubt.
I think the thing that's happened with people is that because I have this thing with regards to, I'm not going to say conspiracy theories, but it's just general mistrust. People don't trust the government or what they're saying, and that's the government's fault.
Aye.
The government have the government have
consistent. You got to give them that.
Aye.
They're consistent at least.
They're consistently shite.
Aye.
But they have for decades fomented a spirit of mistrust. So then whenever they do come out and say stuff, people instinctively now just go, nah.
Aye, you're full of shit.
There's something wrong here.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And they're probably getting, if we look at the British government,
Sorry.
they have
That's a reflex.
They, they have.
I don't mean that, everybody. They're probably sound.
No, they're not.
Forgot
They
I grew up in the
have
90s.
literally fucked up every single stage of the handling of this
Aye.
from day one. Like, and I'm serious.
Yeah.
Name me one thing they've done right.
Aye, not one thing.
There's not one.
Yeah.
You know what I
Definitely not.
mean?
Like,
I want to get the opportunity to be up front and honest.
Yeah,
aye.
Yeah, exactly.
then they stand at the front door clapping for the NHS. You're going, you fucking sold it off bit by bit
Like
for
they-
20 years, and now you're like, isn't it great?
Yeah.
We're fantastic. I've got a
You just
badge
go,
on. I'm
"There's the
Boris
crowd
Johnson.
there."
Aye. Oh, I can't wait till the rats start. It's going to be brilliant. Obviously, 2 meters apart. It's going to be hard to throw stuff. Like that, I can't. You let it. Oh, fuck. Set it in the middle, I run over and let it, you throw it.
So what about America? America's on fire.
I know.
That's
It's one I am
nuts.
fucking. It's
And it's not
mad.
on the fucking news.
No.
Is it not?
No.
You're joking me.
No.
See, I turned the news off about the
Mainstream
second
media
week as
won't
well.
show it. No.
You are joking me. See,
No.
this is the problem, right? I do another podcast that's pretty much all about conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
And I keep going, like, just saying to people, if you want conspiracy theories to stop, tell the truth a wee bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because the mainstream media does seem to be just talking about only coronavirus.
Oh yeah.
So everything else.
Oh, and the weather.
Aye.
And how hot it
Oh
is.
Christ, aye.
They're
They're not even calling it a heat wave, the weather. They're going, it's good for you.
I turned the news on about 12 o'clock. It's the first time I've turned the TV news on in weeks. And it just, out of curiosity, because I was on Twitter and I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about the protests in America and the Black Lives Matter stuff. And I says, I wonder, just pure curiosity, I wonder, is this on the news? It was the BBC, so it was the weather.
Aye.
And it was about 25 minutes of how hot it is. Like, we don't fucking know.
And here's how hot it is. Let's go to York, sure.
And I just went, no, I can't be bothered with this.
Aye.
I'm done.
There's a certain amount of that I feel it feels like it's a wee bit of like World War II type of. Come on, chaps.
Oh, yeah.
Let's tell you how. And
Yeah.
I'm like, people are dying with no jobs.
Yeah, that's it.
If somebody on the news went, "What the fuck?" You go, "All right,
Shit, it did
fair
in the
enough."
sector. Emily Maitlis.
Another great point. Another great point.
But that's the point. I mean, Noam Chomsky says that as well about in his book Manufacturing Consent. It's about what the media does, and they manufacture consent. I don't know if he actually invented that phrase, but it's certainly become the byword for any criticism of the media. And the point that he makes, he was interviewed by, what do you call that guy for the BBC? One of the main guys who had the stroke a while back. He's a bit fucked up on his face.
Oh, see the guy that got shot?
No. The Scottish fella. He does the Sunday morning politics stuff. But anyway, Andrew
Marr? No.
whatever, it doesn't matter. But he was interviewing him, and Chomsky was saying to him that he's basically been co-opted. by the establishment. And he says, "Do you think I'm a water carrier for the establishment? Do you think I'm an apologist for the establishment?" And he said, "No, you don't think you are." He says, "But I'm telling you that if you weren't, you wouldn't have this job.
Yeah.
If you weren't saying the right things, you wouldn't have this job." And if you just go to the likes of Chris Hedges, who was one of the top foreign correspondents for the New York Times, as soon as he started to, well, he always was he was always speaking out against the establishment, but he was doing it abroad. When he came home and started to do it, sacked.
Aye. I listened to a podcast with a guy called Tim Dillon, and he had a journalist called Whitney Webb.
Yeah.
And she's the same. Has to live in Chile to be able to report on American politics.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. The comedian, what's his name? He does Redacted Tonight. Oh, I can't remember his name. Fellow with long dark hair, and he says, "Welcome to America, where Americans reporting on American news in America are called foreign agents."
It's fucking bananas. I don't know what's happening over there, man. It's just because I've seen a few things as well where they keep reporting on the looting, and they're not reporting on the actual peaceful protest side of things.
Well,
they're not reporting that the cops are just shooting plastic bullets into the peaceful and letting them loot.
The cops are not there. The cops are trained to escalate. They escalate. I was actually listening. I mean, anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Dore. I was listening to his latest podcast where he interviews. You should have a listen to it. Where he interviews Chris Hedges, who's one of my. Chris Hedges predicted all this.
Aye.
And then he had the book before, the current one, where he predicted this, he predicted all the other shit. He's a fucking genius, this guy.
That's another thing about conspiracy theorists. For years, they've all been going, "Told you." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my dad's a borderline flat earther, and he's never been proud of himself. He's like, "What have we been saying? What have we been saying? The fucking we'll be paying it back, son. You wait and see. Big financial crash. We're fucked.
Yeah.
They're blaming on us. We take it. Fucking." I'm like, "All right, pops."
But that is correct, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's true. You can see it coming down the road. As I keep saying, I'm a fucking idiot, and I can see this stuff happening.
Yeah.
If I can see it coming, how like the 2008 financial crash, the housing market collapse, right? I had a friend. He works, still works for was it Ulster Bank or Bank of Ireland, one of the two. And my mother, she was a hairdresser. She had a hairdressing place out in Craigavon. And one of the girls that was working with her, she was a hairdresser. She was making at the time, it was something like 200. It was almost £300 a week. That was her wages, right? She bought a house out in Craigavon. Her father panicked her into buying it.
Aye.
Get out of the housing ladder. You have to get on because the house
I was
prices
going
were
through the roof,
fucking roof. £190,000.
Crazy.
£300 a week.
Crazy.
Aye.
Right?
Fucking hell.
Now, I got told this, and then with lots of other stuff that you're observing, I talked to my friend who works in the bank. Right? And I said, "Marty, this is going to end. This has to end. This is unsustainable.
Right.
Even I can see that this is unsustainable. You must be talking about this." And he went, "No. What are you talking about?" He said, "This whole thing is over.
Aye.
There's a collapse coming." And he went, no, that's all fine, it's all fine. Then the thing happened. Then he told me, I didn't see him for quite a while, then he told me, he says, I was talking to him afterwards and said, "So what's the crack with you in the bank? Are you still working down in Dublin and all that sort of thing?" "Yeah." I said, "Was there any sort of feedback, was there any fallback from you just giving out fucking mortgages, basically, like sweets?"
Hand over fist.
Yeah. And he says, "No." He said, "But," he says, I did. He says, "I quoted you in a meeting. And the thing that I said was, I'm an idiot and I can see this coming.
Right.
You must be able to." He says, and he says, "And my friend, he doesn't have an education, doesn't work in finance, doesn't even own a house. He's I was a labourer,
Aye.
a builder's labourer at the time, just starting out. The Bonnevilles was just getting kicked off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could see it coming.
Aye.
My brief time working in the bank, they identified as a shop. It was somewhere we came and we sold you car insurance, life insurance, mortgages, credit cards. You were on the punch to sell all the time. Sell. People who had nothing, you were still pushing credit cards.
He got held up.
And they were willing and able. Do you know
I
why we
think you
got
told
held
it
up?
before, aye.
Well, I think I mentioned it briefly the last time, but the way we got held up, because they took down all the screens, all the divides, and it was open planned shop. Boys jumped over the counter.
So it's just a psychological thing.
Absolutely, it was a shop and everything's all very welcoming, and we can sell you this, and tomorrow you can walk out of here with a car type of thing.
Yeah.
And that was how it portrayed itself.
Yeah.
It didn't identify as a bank; it was a shop.
But that brings
were
us
hitting
but
targets,
that brings
hitting
us
sales.
brings us right through to what's happened today, because all the things that happened in 2008 that caused that financial crash weren't put right.
Aye.
And now we're sitting like so. So the seeds of what's happening today. Now nobody could have. They say nobody could have predicted coronavirus. They've been predicting it for decades,
Aye.
right?
Yeah.
So they've been warning. Listen, there is going to be one of these things. We don't know where. We don't know when. We don't know, but it's going to be. As we spoke about, they've war gamed these things,
Aye.
and they did fuck all whenever they got the results back.
Aye.
The NHS had that Operation Signet or whatever it was called, and they
Aye,
war
time to
game,
plan,
war
yeah.
gamed it in 2016. The results of the war game came back and says, listen, if a flu-like pandemic hits from China, which is exactly what they war gamed, we're fucked. I said, okay, what we do? Nothing. They did nothing.
Aye.
No preparation.
Hope it
right?
doesn't happen.
2 years later, it happened.
Stiff upper
But
lip, jolly good old chaps.
Exactly,
We get
yeah.
through this
yeah,
together.
but as,
Yeah, well, they're
as-
also go. The poor will die. We'll be fine.
Yeah, well, that's
and they're right.
Yeah.
But that's what Chris Hedges says. He says
1 pint of Guinness, I'm ready to start to rag.
Give that man a phone.
he says the tinder for everything was there, but we didn't know. You don't know what the spark is going to be.
Aye.
That sets it off, and the tinder was the entire financial system of the planet. America being the worst case of it. It's so hyper. And then the spark was that man getting killed, that George
Aye.
Floyd. That was the thing. But everything that is going to see this thing roll on, everything that is going to see this thing roll on, has been in place for quite a while, and been getting worse and worse and worse.
Absolutely.
The financial situation of the working class, the hollowing out of the middle class.
This is capitalism.
No health care.
It's just ripping the soul out
No
of
health care.
society.
These people have got, I mean, you turn around and you're blaming them for. First of all, I do question, talk about a conspiracy theory, but I do question who's starting them fires. All them fucking groups have been infiltrated.
Yeah.
The infiltration by the cops
Aye.
into protest movements is well known.
Totally.
But then infiltrating and looting self-employed shops, small owners, small businesses, affecting these people who are then going to, become radical. Government swoops in, gives them the bailout. They're thinking, "Oh, well, great. Sure, look what Mr. Trump done for us now."
But they
and then
won't.
they're tied.
But
You know what I mean?
they won't give the small businesses the bailout.
But that's who they're ripping the heart and soul out of now. The looters are doing that.
Well, there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that reckon that they want everybody to be working for those big companies, so they'll never bail those. They'll go, "We'll not bail you out, but here's a job."
Oh yeah.
In my thing, or even the likes of Jacob Rees-Mogg, the thing he has, where his business is bailing out small to medium businesses.
Oh.
So he's going to make millions off the back of coronavirus because he's basically going, well,
Yeah.
you go to people, you've lost your business. Here's a fucking bailout,
Aren't they
and then I technically own you now until you pay this back.
But that's the thing. It's sort of, as you say, they're infiltrating them from the inside, and every which way the capitalist wins.
But that's the whole fucking game.
I think with
plan.
this one, there's a lot of people said as well, the financial, because the last crisis was all about housing. This one's going to be pensions.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right then. I love coming here. I'll drink that after. Be all right. I'll drink that so I can drive
That
home.
iced coffee will be warm by the time he gets here. Cheers, boy.
Aye. So what we said?
There's talk that because the last crisis was all basically the stock market, that they were gambling with people's mortgages,
Oh right.
and this one is pensions.
Well, that's it. If you're ready for retirement, a 25-year pension waiting on you,
Yeah.
it's going to be worth 20 or 30 grand less than it was, or maybe 100 grand less than it was.
I was talking to somebody that lost 18 grand on their pension in an hour and a half.
Fuck off.
Yep. Now I don't know if that's one of those high risk sort of.
Aye.
They go to, if you put this in, we'll gamble it for you. So you
I
get
can't
a
believe you
profit
know
then.
anybody who has a pension. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
I'm
I
like.
know.
I had a firefighter.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you work in show business.
A firefighter that was doing a training course with us, and he said the same. He lost £20,000 off
Aye.
his pension like that.
Well, my dad's due.
Well, when the stock
the-
market,
yeah.
but this goes to the heart of the problem, with the casino nature of modern banking. Instead of banking used to be this boring kind of
Aye.
little thing, and then turned into the shop
Yeah.
that you
Aye.
described. And
The
this
Wolf of Wall Street kind of
Yeah,
fucking-
exactly, and it became deregulated, and then now you're down to micro trades. Like look what happened with oil.
Aye.
Now that was all predicted. Everybody, whenever America started to go after Russia and the Saudis for because it was the Americans flooding the market with cheap gas from the fracking that they did in America that's caused all this. And the Saudis just went, oh fuck it, and they just sunk the oil market because they can sustain that. And that's what it was. But look at what happened. I mean, surely a wiser system would be built around having something that isn't so fragile.
Yeah.
That isn't so.
So
I know you can't.
It keeps people down. It fucking lifts the rich and keeps the poor down. It's obviously
It's a control thing.
It's a system. It's what needs fucking radicalised. It's where the revolution's needed.
I agree.
Because I believe there's good people in the world. They're not all fucking Skeletor or Mumra. They're not evil lords. Not all evil lords. There is goodness in us.
That's a terrible example.
But the fucking
Not a bad one.
but.
Like so many supermarket Skeletor, the big muscly one.
Fucking Mumra.
But the good guys win in all the fantasies, except here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's bound to be enough good of us to
Put that
revolutionise.
mic closer to your actual speaking hole. There we go.
It's closer than what yours is.
No, mine's right there, lad.
Right, let's not argue. We're trying to start a revolution here. Day one. I did work out. We all fell out.
Yeah. Split. People's Judean front. Aye. So that's the. I mean, this year has been fucking insane.
Yeah.
Oh man, I saw because a lot of my research now has been just on memes and tweets.
Research?
Because I couldn't be asked fucking to listen to the news.
Or reading.
Just reading. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm drunk now. But the best one, something that rang true. Somebody wrote, "Did anybody else start 2020 going? I've got this year fucking nailed." And I was like, man, I was going to Australia again, bought a car and all. Now I'm like, man, can I live here forever? When you die, what happens? The man that will.
there was somebody. I saw a wee meme this morning there. Scientists have discovered this cave that has been sealed up for something like 5,000 years, and this is.
It's called Portadown. Thank you.
They found something like 33 new species or whatever in there that and it was a headline of a newspaper online, and somebody put underneath it, lads, just seal that shit back up. This is not the year.
Let them at it.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of ones going like those lads at the SpaceX program. And there's a bunch of fellas that went, fuck this, we're out.
Yeah. I know.
The best time ever to get off the planet.
My God, man.
I see all one too. Fucking billionaires all obsessed with.
Here's my question
with
from
colonising Mars.
Since the start of this, where have the billionaires been? Why have we not at some point gone, right, how many billions do you have? 8, right, give us half of one of them.
Yeah.
And we'll sort the NHS out. Give us 500 million out of your money.
Jeff Bezos gave his wife a $28 billion divorce settlement, and he was still the richest man in the world.
He's going to be the world's first trillionaire, isn't that right?
Yeah. He's still there. He gave away.
How much money he made through Amazon with us buying fucking Michael Jordan tops?
When you say us, you mean you?
Aye, but
Yeah.
here, I look class at it.
Can you play basketball though?
No.
No.
We weren't allowed to play basketball. It was one of the ones at school. I was alright at it, but
Aye.
we never took it seriously enough to actually play it.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Because I love Teen Wolf.
Yeah,
So it
Teen
was
Wolf
like-
was awesome. That's where I get my inspiration from.
Aye.
Teen Wolf.
The Michael J. Fox one, obviously not Teen Wolf 2. Teen Wolf 2 was awesome.
You're channeling the spirit of an American mercenary.
You think?
That's what you're looking like. You're looking like you're going.
But you
just
look,
can't see
you
you.
look like you fly his helicopter.
Well, I'm going for Magnum PI.
I just reference as many 1980s characters as possible.
I'm going for Magnum PI or a Miami Coke dealer.
Aye, I would go for White Bee Baracus, but
Drink your milk.
I hate flying.
Class.
Obviously, I actually can't see you.
My eyeballs are sweating. It's class. I love that. Sure, if the web was that good, you wouldn't go anywhere else, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Well, you can't.
Beautiful.
Everywhere's closed.
Me and Andy took a race around the lock. Well, around the lock out for a spin yesterday, and we said you could have been anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
The heat and
It's gorgeous. Absolutely
Seen it.
gorgeous. Hottest spring on record ever. For the
I-
UK and Ireland.
I know people, Andy, that said the government can control the weather, and this might be just a.
well, they're doing a very good job.
I know, fair play to them. They got one thing right to make it sunny.
Well,
They've been consistent for what 14
Right,
days
lads,
now?
we're going to drop this virus on them. Do you think we'll just give them a bit of
Give him a wee bit of hate, but at
Wee bit, just that.
least they'll die tan.
Pretty Patel. No, let them freeze.
Oh.
As they're fucking.
Somebody
calm her down. Right, turn the heat on.
She's just stop her grinning. She's got that Arlene Foster smug fucking
She's awful.
naughty bitch.
Awful.
I'm
awful.
not kind.
Rob, but did you see Michael Gove on the TV the other day?
I can't watch that lizard,
Oh
man.
my
I swear to
God.
God, he looks like a cartoon ferret. There's something weird about that fella.
Oh, he's awful. Did you see whenever he was defending Dominic Cummings?
I did see that, and
Even the BBC news guy, it is Andrew Marr. He's
Yeah.
like, come on, be serious, will you?
you see the one with what do you call him, Hancock? The health secretary,
Oh, he's a cunt.
and he's on Sky News, which is a Murdoch run one. So you're kind of thinking they'll never call the Tories out.
Yeah.
And he's laughing his balls off,
Saw it, aye.
like hysterically. He's going, I tried to do this. You said it was wrong, and I did this. You said that was wrong. What do you want me to do? And the
Aye,
girl's
but-
like, do you think it's appropriate you're giggling?
But
News.
the whole thing was that he was saying, because they were the journalist was accusing them of rushing out a response to the coronavirus. They were doing they were going to release some track and trace thing. I can't remember exactly what the details was, but
I
it was
can't wait to not get that up.
It was that's what it was. It was that
Not enough
app.
memory.
And he was accused. He says, "Are you just rushing this out as a cover up for the Dominic Cummings thing?" And he's sort of laughing. Oh, if we hadn't been rushing to put it out, you'd have accused us of it being too slow, and now we're too fast. And,
Aye.
and he started laughing.
It's the thing.
And in between there's the truth.
Aye. Well, there's that psychological thing. It's a duper's delight. When somebody's been caught lying,
Yeah.
they just start laughing
Yeah.
because
Aye.
they don't know how to, what
Aye.
else to do.
Aye.
And you see the Tories doing it all the time. You see, Arlene Foster does it quite a bit as well. There's that kind of like, you're like, what are you giggling at, you fucking lizard?
Yeah.
As I was saying the other day, like how many times does a Tory have to wipe its arse and rub it under your nose before you smell shite? Like,
Yeah.
they're really just. I don't get how anybody supports them. And just think, imagine we could have had Jeremy Corbyn.
Yep.
Aye. Yeah, well, no, we couldn't have.
Oh.
We don't get the vote in this country.
That's true, aye.
We've got no. We don't know what democracy is in Northern Ireland. We've never had a democracy.
Yeah, well, that's a good, yeah.
What? Democracy?
Between Portdown and Loughgall.
It's a pub in Meath, isn't it?
Yeah.
Democracy, come down. We go for a quarter pints in democracy.
No, but what that mean? I mean, one of the things I always say is the only meaningful vote I've ever had in my life was the Good Friday Agreement.
Aye.
That was it.
I couldn't even vote in that one.
I can't. You can't.
Not that I was too young. I was out of the country. Who was gun running?
It's gun running for the Smurfs.
Aye.
80s TV program reference service. I thought
Another
you'd
one.
appreciate
That's
that
it.
one.
Here we're rocking them up.
Yeah,
Aye.
Magnum.
It was the sort of the Catholic version, Ballysmurphy. Thank you. I've still got it, guys. I've still got
Oh dear.
You just can make noises.
Do we get credited for that? We get
Are
credited
you
for that?
sitting there? By the
He's
way,
just getting-
we have an audience. We've got a couple of people over here watching.
Yeah. Raisins was round. A wee sex
Story of my
He was
life.
Trying to make his debut.
Birds looking at
No,
you.
the birds looking at me now.
You should pull your blinds.
That won't happen.
So we were sitting here last night or yesterday, and Andy was feeding the blackbird
Aye.
raisins out of his hand.
Really? Aye?
Yeah.
Aye, he comes down.
Like
Aye.
Lurgan Snow White.
Aye. They look
And
like
I seen him. I came down the all week. Aye, aye.
Is that a cocaine reference?
No, man, there was a deer helping me with the housework earlier. Two squirrels making the bed though.
Class. So basically, our cultural life is fucked,
Aye.
right? So we will, over the past few weeks, we've all been just trying to invent new cultural experiences for, because let's face it, we are pathetic people that need to perform. It's a weakness in
It's just
us,
attention seeking now.
right? So I've been doing it from my studio, and I did the last one there on Saturday night, and I'll be honest with you, it was fine, as I believe, but I didn't like it.
Aye.
I really didn't enjoy it. I'm done. I'm fed up. I want to go back out on the road again.
Aye. I'm the same. I never thought I'd miss being in the queue of an airport security thing.
Aye.
All the stuff you complain
I
about.
never complain again.
Aye. I never thought I would miss like going. The only thing I'm eating today is that biscuit from the hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought I'd go. Fuck, I love them biscuits.
And you get to one of them airports where they have a free bottle of water, and you're like, fuck.
Aye.
Because you've no money.
Yeah. I can't wait. Can't wait to be fucking broke again. But at least I'll be being honest.
I know. It's true. But you
Sure.
did a Zoom
I did
gig.
one Zoom gig Which I did. Well, I've done two. I did one thing for a comedy club, which was like record 3 minutes of your set, just into your phone and send in the video.
Oh.
And that was even worse.
And do they put that online?
Yeah, they just share it in there. It was just.
Are you happy with them putting some of your set online?
It was 3 minutes of whatever. And at this point, you're sort of going, well, I'm not getting to perform any of it. So
okay.
It's kind of, it's not
new
mega.
stuff?
Yeah, it's not mega. No, it's not like not new stuff. It was even just It was more of a ramble than it was a set, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But then the Zoom one where you could see and hear the audience. They were all in on. So there's about 50 or 60 of them.
How was that? Did it work for you?
No, it was awful because I was kneeling on the floor with my laptop on 2 pillows to try and get a sort of decent height on it. And there was an old woman from Scotland, big. I don't want to sort of body shame anyone, but one of the fattest people I've seen in my life. Do you know when somebody's so fat their neck and their arse in the same line? Do you know what I mean? And
These are the sort of people drink your water.
it's the same kind of not a tooth between her. And she was eating an Easter egg and didn't realise her camera was still on. So I'm trying to do jokes to these strangers in different screens, and she's just. And I could see all the it was rotten. But a part of me did go, I'm never doing another one of those because I don't
Who
want
set
people.
that up?
There's a guy in Scotland, Des, forget a second name.
Right.
But straight away I just went, I don't want to do another one of these because if people get used to it, they'll never go back out to comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Because people do get sort of used to it. Like once you start putting comedy on YouTube for free,
Yeah.
then when they have to pay for it, they're like, how dare you
know.
charge me for that thing that you made up for worked on for a year?
Yeah.
So
it's the same with what you were doing. It became the new norm really quickly. People were delighted to see it.
Yeah.
There's something to look forward to. There's a gig online. I don't know if it's something that'll maybe continue if we do go back to some
I
sort
don't
of
think
thing,
there's
but you're
anything
getting
bad.
access
I mean,
to your
it's
favorite band or whatever.
It's a new thing. So I bought that camera over there for my studio to do these gigs, and I need to get another piece of tack to make it all work. But so as far as the live gig goes, you play an electric guitar and you just into your phone. It's a lot of noise coming out, so the noise coming out the other end can be very distorted and fucked up. So it's incumbent upon us to try and make that experience as good as possible. So that means getting a good camera, getting good, setting your microphones up, doing it through your fucking laptop and getting that sound out to the people rather than just a mic in a room. But it's still never going to replace the live gig.
Not at all.
But it's going to be something that contribute
It's going to be something else. It's going to be another platform.
Yeah, completely.
That people will buy into.
I don't think they're
because
going to go away.
You won't want to go out every Saturday night, but if you've access to your favourite band every once a month online, so be it.
yeah. We're lucky enough. Like we set up a Patreon for the other podcast we do.
Aye.
And we're getting you're almost at a point where you go, if we had if we were guaranteed that wee bit of money every month, it would maybe take care of your rent. It would take care of at least one bill. But I'd still rather not have to do that and for 20 minutes a night die in front of a hen party.
Yeah.
Like, just girls, please, just let me finish. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Get your willy out, girls, please. I'm trying to talk about my willy if you don't mind.
No, but that's the thing. I decided to get into the podcast business just properly, try and do this a bit more regularly, just as the world went into lockdown and everybody decided to do the same thing.
I'm so glad I started doing one before it went, like a couple of months before.
Yeah.
Because I think I was talking to Geddes about
The
it.
market got flooded.
He says everybody's podcast numbers who had a long running podcast, their numbers have all taken a hit.
Is that right?
Because first of all, there's more, but also nobody's going to work.
Yeah.
So most people listen to podcasts on the way to and back from work, but because they're in lockdown,
Oh, yeah.
no
My
one's.
podcast listening has been up no end because I'm working in the garden every day, and it's amazing. How many?
Well, I also decided that it was about time white men had their voice heard.
Well, I'm sick of not being heard.
I thought there was.
See this whole getting paid more and having the vote all the time? Bloody sick of it.
Exactly.
Me grew ditties to be in solidarity and
dance with them and everything. It was great.
that was another thing people have been making fun of me for. Like, you lost your mind during, like, because the start of lockdown, the only way I could not go mental.
Did they not know you're a comedian?
That was the thing, man. The amount of people that were like, he's genuinely pretending there's a woman in the house with his legs shaved. Like, couldn't get over it. And the thing was,
I shave my legs.
but that's, you're a cyclist.
I'm a cyclist.
Mine hasn't grown back properly yet in that leg. Like, cut at the ribbons. And my toenails painted for the best part of a month. I thought, that does not come off. I thought that would just come off by itself. You have to really work on it to get rid of it. But I was in buying nail varnish remover. Like, remember when you were young, you were buying like something out of a chemist? You're going, it's for a friend.
14 bottles of Tipex and a massive accident.
Do you have any Pritt stick? Should I glue a relative's limb back on or something? But I was like, I was going bald anyway. I think I'd said this before the last time we met up.
You took the brave turn.
I was like, I'm just going to shave it off and see what it looks like. Because my hair was looking dreadful because it was falling out. And,
you know who you look like? Street Fighter, the big Russian fighter.
Thank you.
Zangief.
No, the big
Sagat on the eye patch. No.
Zangief.
You sure it's Street Fighter?
I don't know. No, Street Fighter, the game.
Do you mean the wee green dude?
No, the big Russian dude, the big with the beard.
Zangief, I'm telling you.
No, it's not Zangief.
It is.
Somebody Google this. If only we had a device.
Because
Guys, I don't
that's
get
the
this
stretchy
shit
fella.
wrong.
He's talking about the one with the mohawk.
Yeah, no, the Russian dude with the mohawk. Aye.
I'll take that. Thanks very much.
Street
I
Fighter.
have been working out in fairness.
Street Fighter characters.
Zangief.
Right.
Are you?
Ryu, Chun, no, definitely not Chun-Li.
Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Blanca. Not Blanca,
Not
no
Blanca.
way.
Not Blanca. Not Blanca.
Sagat? No, not Sagat.
No.
I'll get this.
I was watching the Street Fighter movie all night too.
With
With
Kelly
Jean-Claude Van
Minogue.
Damme. Aye.
Zangief.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Is that what you said?
Thank you.
Yeah,
No,
it
I didn't
is,
say
aye.
it 6 times.
I thought
Seven.
Zangief was the stretchy fella.
It's him.
No. What do you call the stretchy fella?
I'll take that.
He's not Russian, he's Irish.
I'm rushing that pint.
What do you
But that's one of the things. That as soon as I shave my head, people immediately, when you're bald, just straight away go, "That's disgusting." Like there's no people grow your hair back immediately. I'm like, I went bald, grow it back. That's not how it works.
Squeeze.
I went bald, squeeze. Try harder. Shit myself. Like, so I've been buying a selection of hats as well.
Oh, I'm a
To
fan.
try and,
Yeah, I done a drunken wish collection of hats the other day.
Aye.
I'm waiting for the
I bought a pork pie hat because I was thinking that's going to look great on stage. Does not.
Does it?
Not on me. Not at all. Like one of the problems I have is that I've got a family problem where we've no hair and no necks.
Yeah.
We're all like,
Well, it's kind of ironic too that if you do look a bit like a Hamlin, you get a pork pie hat.
fuck you.
It's a Russian ham and
How dare you?
Zangief sold me £1.
Oh, here, I heard a class joke earlier. I just want to hear a joke.
Yeah.
So this fella buys a Mini, right? And he's out washing his Mini one day, and a bloke in a Rolls Royce pulls up beside him. And he goes, "See you driving a Mini?" He's like, "Ah, there am I." He goes, "Well, got a Rolls Royce there." He says, "In the back of that Rolls Royce, there's a big, massive TV." The bloke in the Mini goes, "You're not going to believe this. In the back of that Mini, there's a big TV." The bloke in the Rolls Royce goes, "No, but listen, my TV's got satellite, it's got Sky, it's got all the sports." The guy goes, "My TV, I'm not even joking, it's got all the sports, all the movies, everything." The guy in the Rolls Royce goes, "Aye, but in the back of my car, there's a fully stocked bar. There's whiskey, there's wine." The guy with the Mini goes, "You're not going to believe this. In the back of that car there," he goes, "there's fully stocked bar, whiskey, wine, beer, cider, champagne, brandy, anything you can think." He goes, "In fact, in the back of that Mini, there's a double bed." The bloke goes, "Is there fucking..." He goes, "I swear." And he opens the boot, and your man looks in, and sure enough, there's a double bed in the back of the Mini. So the guy with the Rolls Royce takes umbrage, and he goes, "That's enough." Goes to the Rolls Royce dealership, and he goes, "I want a double bed in the back of that Rolls Royce." So he gets the double bed sorted out, and goes looking for the bloke in the Mini to show him. He's driving around all day trying to find this wee Mini, and he sees it in a car park. So he drives over, and the windows are all steamed up. He grabs the window. The guy puts the window down. He goes, "Just want you to know, I've now got a double bed in the back of that Rolls Royce." And the bloke in the Mini goes, "You got me out of the fucking bath to tell me that?" 17th of October, Ulster Hall.
Brilliant. I've met boys in Littles, Stevie Lavery in particular, and he still laughs about that fucking spider soaking. He says to me, he says, "Oh, you got to get Micky back round and get him on the podcast."
What was that one again? Oh, that's an octopus. Right, so Emma will talk about it.
Andy's doing the boy run, is he?
He's not even that good in guitar, is he? Like,
We got a lesson here in the guitar yesterday. It was very, very good.
Go on ahead, fucking hell. I should have left the car in the house.
Sure.
Grand.
It's not going anywhere. The bins have been collected, have they?
No, Bride. Good man, thank you. I think I have one on my keys, don't worry about it.
You can open this one.
Did you see the queues outside IKEA?
Is it open again?
There's nothing in IKEA.
Cheers.
That's that fucking important.
That breaks my heart because that's the old the new. That's the throwback.
Sorry, but I didn't even help you. I just
Sorry.
straight as a Guinness. Fuck, what you done?
It's a different Guinness than
I know.
than
Full.
tin, isn't it?
Oh, it's nicer.
It's lovely.
Oh, that's the real stuff.
No.
The real stuff.
I like the bottles.
No
I
widgets
like,
in
I like
there.
the tins too. Tins are awful easy to drink though.
Aye.
Aye.
Very
They're
easy to
smooth,
drink.
really.
You just bang through.
Yeah.
Just feel like it's a proper medicinal Guinness here now.
Yeah. But if you want a fucking chocolate flake for that,
Here, I got a bottle of Smithwick's the other day and tried to pour it in the house and be all, just imagine sitting in the Woodville, this great little pint bottle of Guinness. Flick. Fucking.
Aye.
That glass was really. It
It's
was one of them
the
widgety
glass
things
got
at the
one of them
bottom
things in
and
the bottom.
It was
Aye.
really
Oh, did it?
frothy.
I
Aye.
didn't know that.
Aye. They
I
all
made
do
a
that
mistake
now.
around at my sister's house on
I
Saturday
tried
night.
3 times it. Got
We're
them
drinking
done.
fucking gin cocktails or something. And I slept for 6 hours yesterday and then went to bed at 10 o'clock.
That's
and
horrible.
Slept.
See, we came around our house yesterday for said we'll have a couple of beers nice and early. She raised around with fucking 2 cases of beer, a bottle of fucking gin.
Black Cat Club.
It's the future. But then I brought the bottle home, well, what was left of the bottle. I was like, you're greedy.
It's too easy drunk. That was the problem too. I was free pouring them, so I
it's-
wasn't even measuring them. I was just.
Aye.
That tastes fine.
I laugh. I don't free pour. I measure, but I measure into the optic we have in the house.
Aye.
And
Where you
just
going?
overspill it. Just so it really free
Aye,
pour.
you
do
It
it
just
more?
look good. Bro watched me do it on New Year's Eve. He says, "What the fuck? What are you even using that for?" Gunk, gunk, gunk.
Aye.
One pint of gin
We
was
sat around our
busted.
house one night. I used to drink. I must tell you my gin. I don't drink gin anymore, right?
After
Because
that
it's
night,
fucking delicious.
Aye.
Right?
I've never had a bottle of Guinness before in my life. That's fucking gorgeous.
Oh, it is really
that's
nice.
the best way to
That's
drink
class.
it. See, off
Um,
the shelf too.
The,
Not even cold.
Aye.
I used to drink gin pretty much exclusively, and there was the reason I stopped was gin's supposed to can make you emotional. So there's this sort of thing that you see some this image of a movie actress coming down the stairs with fucking mascara poured
Aye.
down it with a fucking it's just the gin, it's just pissed on gin all the time, and it gets into your system. It makes you very emotional,
Aye.
right? So I've had no indie. I've been drinking it fucking 4 times a day for 2 years at this point, right? No problem. No indication of any problems, right?
Until one night in Albert
No,
Avenue.
it was round at my dad's house.
The next day.
That's right. It was the next day. Aye. I was round my dad's house and that was the next whatever it was.
It was the next day because you drank
We're
your body weight.
we're,
in gin
we're,
in the
ha-
house
we drank a
first.
body weight in gin, and the was having a few drinks with my dad, and Helen, my dad's partner, started to sing Ireland's Four Green Fields.
Right.
Right? And I've heard her sing this song. Now, it's one of that song. It's one of these classic. Get ready for the song. It's going to take about 16 fucking years. This song about Ireland, 800 verses long, and one of those ones. And I'd heard her,
Stand on
and she's a
the
beautiful
fireplace.
voice. Great.
Aye.
She's brilliant at it.
Takes a shawl out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. She's brilliant at it, and she's a beautiful voice in this class song. But I've heard it 100 fucking times, right? But she starts singing it anyway. Somebody asked her, she starts singing this guy. I start fucking crying.
Aye.
I start fucking crying. I'm way back. That's the most beautiful fucking song I've ever heard. I've heard it 100,000 times. But the problem, then I was round there the night before, it was whatever it was, and me and Lisa, we sat up. I come around with a big massive bottle of gin, and she come walking and she goes, I got a big bottle of gin today, right? How many bottles of gin did we drink that night?
It was 1 liter, one 1 liter bottle and a 70 cl bottle. And,
We actually
and I had to replace the
burnt a
table.
hole in the Formica table.
I had to replace the table.
With the gin.
It stained the table.
Fucking hell. What kind of gym you doing?
Just Gordon's.
Got what? I know I get like up with vodka. Is the only thing that'll make me. Because people fight when they drink vodka. It puts me in a real bad mood.
Aye.
But it makes me cry. So when we were leaving school and
Vodka makes you cry.
I don't know what it is about it.
Wow.
But I had a house party for leaving school and I got a fucking 2 half bottles. Because it was, you want like a half bottle, I'll get a half bottle instead of a 10 glass to save money. And there's a point where I was sitting in the toilet going, I'm never going to see you guys again. And everybody's going, Mickey, would you fucking wait? I'm trying to have a party, you dick. And I just sorry. And a guy called Marty Fox, who was...
You wanted to be a comedian at the
Man, I
time.
swear to God, this fella Marty Fox, he must have been 18 stone then, right? And he's lost a lot of weight, looks great now, but he's a big unit. And he's sitting in the toilet and said, would you fucking stop crying? And I'm going, Marty, you don't understand. I fucking did it. And the more I cried, and then I looked up and he went, fuck you, Mickey. The two of us sitting guarding the bathroom. And the only other one was drinking is with a hangover is if we're drinking Prosecco, the day after that, I'm an emotional wreck.
Really?
I was at a wedding there about maybe 6 months ago.
I just stick the beer and the wine.
You're fine with that. Like it's, but the day after that, Whitney Houston came on the radio, and I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake! Her in the bath now."
I'm still waiting on Dead Rabbit whiskey.
It's coming.
Lockdown arrived. That fucker ends up 2 bottles of it.
Good
Me,
man.
Dead Rabbit. Dead
200
Rabbit.
yards away. Can't
Dead
can't
Rabbit.
get there.
Dead Rabbit whiskey contacts us. So the big fans of the Bonnevilles. And they're putting out a record actually. For the money going to charity, and they've asked for one of our songs, which is great. So we're going to do that. So they contact us. The guy Darren, hello Darren, if you're watching. He contacts me, the Bonnevilles on Instagram, and he says, "Can I send you up a couple of bottles of whiskey?" I said, like, yeah,
No bad.
fuck it. But I always I've got 2 endorsements, right? The endorsements that I want. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. They're not. It's Dead Rabbit whiskey and Sussex tweed hats.
Yes, I like
Right? Which are handmade English hats, and they're absolutely fucking. I'll show you later. Absolutely gorgeous, and delighted to have them. But I'm a musician. The endorsement I really need is guitar strings and fucking cables and pedals.
I need more Michael Jordan tops. Everybody's paying attention to that. A couple of sweet snakes.
Exactly, right? So the guy's kind of, he says, big fans of the band, can I send you up a couple of bottles of something? Fuck, aye, going ahead. Oh my God, man.
He keeps making
Nice.
that face. Fuck you.
The nicest fucking whiskey, honest to God. It is dear stuff too. It's like £45 a bottle.
Fucking hell.
They sent me up 2 bottles. I got one up to Chris, and I kept one for myself. And I tanked the fucker like, in about two or three nights.
It's easy done with good whiskey too.
Oh
Sixty
my
six.
God!
Sixty six.
And it's
What about his brother around the corner, huh?
Somebody smoke, sorry.
I'll walk away. So then they contact me again a couple of weeks later and say, "How'd you get on with the whiskey?" I said, "Oh, gorgeous, fucking hell, nicest whiskey I've ever had." Do you want to know a couple of bottles? I said, "Aye." Fucking lockdown just started. They sent me up to 2 bottles. I had to drink them all myself.
Oh, nightmare, Andy.
Honest to fuck.
And also, we were in the corner, right enough.
Shocking.
It was
See you
absolute.
next Tuesday.
You're right. See you next Tuesday.
They're sending me up some more stuff. So they were on to me there last week. So they're going to send up some more stuff. So I'll give you
Yeah,
a
that'll be
shout.
a
Give me,
Podcast,
that'll be better. See, I had an idea. I was chatting to a mate of mine about an idea for a
Fuck, I
podcast.
love the smell of that.
Sorry, you don't mind it?
No, I love the smell of it.
But an idea for a
How
podcast
many years
called...
are you off cigarettes?
18.
Would you been a heavy smoker like when you did smoke? Or?
Yeah, full-time smoker like. But I was always fit. I always kept
Aye.
I was always training and exercising.
Me too, man.
But then that one there, so she come up to me when she was, I think she
All your
must have
fault,
been
Summer.
3 or 4 years of age. I always hated being a smoker, but I
Aye.
loved smoking. And she come up to me and she just held my hand and said, "Daddy, would you give up cigarettes sometime, do you think, baby?" I said, "I maybe want me." Aye.
Somewhere, don't come fucking near me.
With a wee bud.
I like looking cool and staying thin.
At least you're getting that out of it.
Aye, that's it. Helping you keep your figure.
Swings and roundabouts, like
Okay, I have the lungs of a fucking 90-year-old coal
well,
miner, but
tell
I'm
you what, that
skinny
is
as fuck.
Because I only really smoke from drinking or from gigging. The 2 times that I'm kind of, and normally in the house don't even think about it. But with lockdown, I'm just like fucking. I'm still.
You're not,
might do
you're not
4
tempted to
days.
quit?
Aye, all the time. But it's kind of, I think it's smokers definitely always bullshit themselves into.
Yeah.
I don't smoke that much and whatever.
Aye, yeah.
And I genuinely don't. Like 20 fags would do me 3 or 4 days.
It was all right.
But even that, I'm going. That's more than I used to smoke. But at the same
not
time,
bad.
I would smoke 16 a night if it was.
Oh, yeah.
sitting
20
drinking.
more than I smoke.
Aye. But
So
I
it's
am.
not a lot.
That's See, I'm pish now. Class.
You want to come there way around to the wood. We'll get more beer.
We'll talk you into quitting before it's all done and dusted.
Aye. Drive my car home drunk. Why'd you quit smoking? I'm in jail now.
Yeah. Right. So what have we talked about? We talked about Black Lives Matter, which they do.
Well, what about the thoughts of when the gigs do start back again? I know with the Black Cat Club we've discussed some.
Aye. So
Potential
we were
solutions of
we were
making the
discussing
first gig happening and
we
it
were
being a
discussing
comedy gig.
earlier. We were talking about this last night. So we said that the first gig, our intention was for the Black Cat Club was for the first gig to be the Bonnevilles because we'll sell the room out, and we were going to do it for free, and then that'll give the club a bit of seed money. So that's obviously not going to happen. And the great thing was, whenever we cancelled the gig, so we cancelled the comedy gig that you booked with Aaron, Diona and Paddy.
Yeah.
And we cancelled the Bonnevilles gig. We didn't cancel, we postponed them. And we said to people, because they bought tickets, and we said to the people, if you want your money back, it's not a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's there, it's all good. You can have your money back, or we're going to have this gig at some point. Your
And
tickets,
we're still very humbled about everybody
and
who
your
invested
tickets
in
still
us.
valid.
Yeah.
Not one single person asked for their money back.
Seriously?
And we
That's
got
brilliant.
30, 40 messages of people going, no, we're fully on board, we support what you're doing, and we can't wait to get to the gigs.
Right.
And so,
Our class.
and isn't that
I'm
brilliant?
going to cry now.
So, we were discussing last night with the way the lockdown's going. They are going to start backing off and start opening up venues and
Aye.
a little bit at a time. And if the opportunity arises that we could have a gig, and obviously we want to be socially responsible, so we don't want to just rush into a thing, fucking, you know, be all cavalier about it. But if we get the opportunity to, the way to go would be a comedy gig. And what we were thinking was either a comedy gig and maybe an acoustic gig.
Aye.
So maybe hit Stevie Scullion up with Melodian,
Yeah.
get him
Like
in
an
just on his
afternoon
own.
gig, it's
An afternoon
feeds
gig.
in then into the
and then
comedy
that'll
gig in the
feed into
evening.
the comedy gig, 7, 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
that sort of a thing. But we can, it would be small capacity, seated,
Aye.
and, you know, 30, 40 people in the room that can
Yeah.
hold 150. It's going to be like that.
Aye.
You know, but that's better than nothing.
That's
Then
the
you're
thing,
offering
totally.
quality as well. As long as we're still providing the quality we promised.
And then the tickets are going to go up. The
Yeah.
ticket, that's the
Aye.
point as well. So you're, instead of a £7 ticket, it's going to be a £20 ticket. But you're going to get 30 people chomping at the bit to fucking
Aye.
pay it.
That's the thing. It's,
Really?
it is that kind of thing where you have to go right the responsible way to do it. Because even the Ulster Hall, I'm sort of going, I don't want to keep it going and people feel uneasy about going to the gig.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do that sort of situation. So that's a great idea. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
as I said, without having sort of spoke to the premises owners and stuff, we're already planning ahead, thinking ahead.
Aye.
But
yeah.
I mean, they'll be fully on board as they had
Oh,
been
you
prior to
well,
this
if we
happening.
get, if we get the go ahead to, the hotels are opening sometime in the middle of June apparently, or July, and you know we all know that the bars and the venues are probably going to be the last thing, but they're not just going to open their doors and it's just
No.
going to be like bang, on you go. It's
And
going to be.
that
That
would
could be
sit
the
with us
danger too.
anyway. You know, we don't want that in your conscience.
No, we don't want
that in
I
your
don't want that in
conscience
my
anyway.
conscience.
Yeah.
You know.
Be testing everybody on the way in.
Yeah.
Get a bouncer with a tube.
Yeah. Bend over.
People would be delighted to come.
Yeah. Wire brush and dental.
So but that would be a way that we could start, you know, getting things opened again
Yeah.
and start getting the gigs, because obviously you know if you get a big full-on rock gig, it's 150 sweaty
Aye.
people
Yeah,
all in close
exactly.
proximity to each other. You can't be having that.
Aye.
But again, the people who have invested initially, like they'll still be held true for the gig that we have planned whenever everything's right. The
Yeah.
money they've already
Aye.
paid, you know, the
Yeah. Is that all right, love?
planned Bonnevilles gig.
Is it? There's a battery in the.
You know, there's wee stages where I go, do I even know how to do stand up anymore? But it'll be grand. I'm drunk.
I think you've got it. I think you've got a
But
talent for it.
class.
That joke was brilliant.
I'll do it.
My dad told me that one.
There's where the talent comes from.
Oh, God. And have you been doing plenty of fitness stuff as well? And he's been...
I've been trying in the house and doing a bit, not as much as Andy. He's
Aye.
a fucking machine, but I had a hip problem for a wee while that I've sort of now solved, so I'm
Aye.
trying to kick back in. But
Well, I
what you
see
do
it.
is you go too hard and
Aye.
then you can't, and then you can't go at all.
How many miles is that? What's that?
78.
78 miles?
Yeah.
In a sitting?
Yeah.
Andy, that's here to Derry.
That's no panic. It's taking a long time.
All right, show off. I
We
can't
done
walk,
25
can't
miles
walk the
yesterday.
length of my feet.
You what?
I couldn't walk the length of my own feet. I've been trying to stick to my wee skipping rope workouts now. And
Your montages have been awesome,
Um,
very inspiring.
see, what I know, Tuesday montage.
You know what? But I can't get any weights anywhere. I can't get a skipping rope anywhere.
I'm exactly the same. I got a new skipping rope.
That's what the fucking problem.
That's what the problem
But
is.
I gotta-
Also, there's loads of beer in the road.
I
and
know.
You can't get past the bottles
That's
of beer.
trying to. So I made my garage in a wee sort of mini gym and having to scoop bottles of beer and wine out of the side. Whereas me and my dad hitting it like two. Because when everybody else panic bought spaghetti, we panic bought bottles. And then panic drunk them. So our garage
might be
is
our last chance to get
man, it
those.
was shocking. Like I might be dead in the morning. Like, and then obviously we believe the whole alcohol kills it. situation too. Like, but
just pickle yourself.
aye.
I've parents that live
Well,
by that.
the actually, when you think about it, it is actually a fair strategy. You know, let's make this
Absolutely.
fucking host so fucking unappealing that even a virus wouldn't
Aye,
fucking want to
exactly.
get.
Without a doubt, because if you think
Pretty
of it,
Patel's fucking walking around. Like,
aye. But if you're
You're
sanitizing the
you're so fucking ugly, even the virus wouldn't sick.
you're rapping from the core.
But you think like people are sanitizing their hands with 100% alcohol? Just try and make your body as close to 100% alcohol as you can.
It's a legitimate
Alex
theory.
Higgins didn't get fucking coronavirus.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. But I've been, so, as you know, I cycle, so I was still, the racing season was about to start, and
Aye.
I was doing, the band being the Bonnevilles, we were going away so much. I don't get to race as much anywhere close to what I would like to do. But so I was just doing time trials,
Aye.
and that was my thing. So I was staying sharp and fit for that. But they're relatively short distances. It's basically like a 10 mile or 25 mile time trial,
Aye.
and you just go as fast as you can. They're fucking brutal, like, you know. They
And imagine, Jesus
you
Christ.
fucking puke up at the end of them. But
I feel sick listening to it.
but then when this started, then I went, fuck it. So I'm going to start throwing in some bigger miles. So I did the lock, and going around the lock is fairly easy enough because it's relatively
Fairly
flat.
Aye.
There's not any big massive climbs in it, wee hills. And I did it in 3 hours 58 minutes. Average speed of 19.5 mile an hour the whole way around.
That's crazy.
Friggin' hell, man. I might stop smoking.
Yeah, you should get a bike. Come out with us. Me and Richey were out yesterday. It was lovely.
That's it, I've got a
was
bike,
great.
but the tyres are flat, so not my fault.
We actually passed your house on the way out.
She
Right.
called in for a beer. I was sitting in the paddling pool like, I'm working away. Did a sit up this morning, get out of bed.
Trying to fucking inspire you, man.
Oh man, I fucking there's been I've done a couple of decent workouts, but cause I had like a metal skipping rope,
You're good at skipping, aren't you? Aye.
but the plastic came off because you're not supposed to use it on concrete.
Yeah.
So there's a day where the plastic wore away, and I was
yeah.
trying to go as fast as I could for as long as I could, and I was looking at the ground, and there were sparks flying off the fucking ground. I was like, I'm a legend. But what was happening to me the whole way through lockdown was I would get up in the morning. You have to sometimes just fucking make yourself do something. Like,
Yeah.
right, get
Yeah.
up and fucking. Eventually, would do like an hour and a half workout with wee shady weights, but as many reps as I could, and trying to do push pull and all. Just trying to put things together with what you have. Then do 20 minutes of skipping the end of it. Then I would do something funny for Instagram or social media, and immediately go, "Treat yourself, big lad. Go and get a carry out." And then I spend the day after that lying in bed down and eating pizza. Go, why am I getting fatter?
I'm a bit like that, Mickey. So, jeez, I put a core effort in the day. Andy, do you fancy a few beers this afternoon?
Yeah.
earned it.
Sunday's
You've
a
earned
killer.
it.
You'll go out and you'll do an hour and a half on the bike. I think, just feel good about it. I feel like I've done my bit.
Aye.
And then just drink yourself stupid on Sunday
That's
night.
it, yeah.
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate
Aye.
cake. And
I do. I follow a guy on Instagram, or not Instagram, YouTube. A guy called Funk Roberts and Kanks from the Fellowship.
He's
Yes.
looking fucking. is
He's
he
buff.
Aye,
He's looking
buff. I
great.
saw
Aye,
the
yeah.
photos, aye.
He does. He follows him as well, and he
he's
kind
all
of does.
kettlebells, isn't he, Kenks?
He does.
That's all
Yeah.
functional strength stuff in that.
Aye, but he does that Funk Roberts guy. His thing is for boys over 40 because you know your metabolism slows the way down and all the rest of it. Not that you're there yet, but
I am. I.
your metabolism.
Metabolism
my-
might be there, but
My metabolism
you're still
slowed down
only
when I was
33.
19. It's like,
So
you
it's
can
about-
drink your metabolism away.
So it's about harder. It's a sort of hard big hit sessions, but
Aye.
they only last like 25, 30 minutes. That's
Aye.
it. And he goes, don't, because it develops this fucking hormone that makes you fat if you go over that.
Aye.
So I'm like, right, okay, so that works. You know.
Right, because I keep buying stupid. I bought them those resistance cables, the ones you hang on the door,
Yeah.
because I keep seeing ads for them. Because again, I can't get weights, and trying to do any kind of. I should just get on a bike or go and run or whatever. But
Yeah.
what I've ended up doing now is because I'm only using dumbbells and a sit-up bench or something. I've ended up putting my back out because you're not doing enough for the rest of your body.
Yeah.
Core,
So-
I've learned a long time ago the core. Like I neglected it for years, playing football and stuff.
Aye.
It was just about getting on the field and running. And you
Yeah.
know, now, obviously, medical, it's all advanced now, and core was neglected.
Aye.
So now I've
The old
struggled.
posterior chain,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
that.
believe, is your back.
Yeah, yeah. But that's even the same on the bike. I remember when I was involved with cycling clubs and stuff, and you know, boys would come to you and if I was trying to sort of give a wee bit of advice for the little bit of knowledge that I do know, it's all basic stuff. I always said to you, like, you know, like cycling a bike is no more about throwing your foot at the pedal than kicking a ball. It's about
Yeah.
throwing your leg at a ball. It's
Aye.
not. There's something to do.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's all straight. It's all stuff like look after your core and straighten your back up, and
Yeah.
when
Aye,
you're
parts of
pedaling,
stuff, aye.
and think about linking those chains of muscles so that these muscles can work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all that. It's all really basic stuff. But the reality is, men don't want to do any of that shit.
Aye.
They just want to go fast, kick a ball hard, score a goal.
Aye, well,
You know what I mean?
I was even in the gym. I was going to Colombia. I was like, because they have a punch bag. You be beating the fuck out of a punch bag. You feel amazing. And the old time I'd video it to put it on Instagram,
Yeah.
thinking now doing it to be stupid and funny.
Yeah.
But also half thinking, I bet you I look class. And then you look at the video and go, oh no, I look exactly like the joke version of this. Like, at no point I look like Ali here.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You looking at my bird?
Yeah.
Like,
imagine putting in all that work to do something well, and you're like, nah, I'll just do the fucking funny version of it
Aye.
here. I'll just do the fucking retarded version of it.
but I'm trying my best to do the good version. It just came out just came out stupid looking.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So the Black Cat Club, that's probably going to be a way back in for us, I think.
I think so. It's going to be a slow burner, but
It's
it's
going to be slow.
We can confirm that we'll do our damnedest to make it work.
And all the money's still sitting in the account.
All the
It's
money's
all
there,
sitting there.
yeah.
It's not been spent on anything really. You know, the only money that's gone out of it would be the ticket people. They took
they
their
took their
fee.
cut for the.
Aye.
But
initial
that's
fee.
if we had to replace all that, we would do that ourselves. It's not an awful amount of money, but so that would be a way back in. But you know what my fear is, and this is where I'm coming from, because like with the Bonnevilles, we had a tour. We were supposed to go on a big European tour in April, cancelled. Chris started to rebook it again for October, cancelled again.
Aye.
You know, the venues just went, listen, guys, it's
better safe than sorry.
it's not going to happen. We're all over Europe. It was all the same. So it's all cancelled. We're supposed to, I think we're still on the books to play some charity gig in October. I literally can't see that
But
happening.
again, if it is going to be played, it's not going to be the gig that you're crying out for.
And the thing of it as well is I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
If there's anything going on, I don't want to fucking do it either.
Aye.
I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting sick. But my biggest fear is that this comes back again next year.
Aye, when there's yeah, that's kind of one of the weird birds are fucking falling this kind of.
Uh-huh.
It could. That's the thing. It's because it's even though it's not a flu, it's a flu-like virus.
Yeah.
And they do just evolve and fucking.
Yeah, but then again, but if they haven't been dealt with properly, which as we've acknowledged at the very beginning of this, our fucking government
Fucked
fucked
it up.
us up right from day
Just
one.
upper lip, gentlemen.
Every step of the way.
Like, look at New Zealand. Were they down to one case a few days ago?
They're done.
They're done.
All
They're
done, like?
They're done. They went in the WHO recommended pandemic war-gamed lockdown.
Aye.
Said this is what we've practiced. This is what we recommend. This is what we need to do. This is what you should do, and they did it.
Aye.
And now their economies.
So we could have done this before Christmas.
All the capitalists worrying about the fucking economy.
Aye.
Everything that the New Zealand have done as socialists has now enabled the economy that the capitalists are worried about
Aye.
to open back up.
Only Micky.
Cheers. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, man, thank you.
And your woman has released Jacinta. I fucking never
She's
remember.
a hero. She's
She's
Oh, absolutely.
$175 million arts package
Aye.
to the arts to help
But
the
this
arts
is
get
foreign,
back on their
guys.
feet.
This is what's called leadership. We don't know what that means.
Aye.
Don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
It just happened to be a brunette at the other side of the world.
Rather than the big fucking blonde palooka that fucking over in London.
or in America.
Mickey, you haven't done an impression of anybody yet. Go for it.
Oh, I forgot.
One of them blonde ones will do.
I was trying, do you know what? I thought I could do a good Michael McIntyre the other day, right? My Michael McIntyre impression is halfway between
Wouldn't mind his
Prince
money.
Philip and Bill Cosby. Right? And all I can do is say his name, right? And it goes, Michael McIntyre.
There was a seen Cosby there, like I definitely. We got the
Yeah.
Cosby vibe there.
I can't do any impressions. I think your Joe Pesci was great. It was basically just an angry Lurgan man saying
yeah.
motherfucker.
You motherfucking. I'll bury you in the desert, you fucking motherfucker, you.
Brilliant. So, there we go. We'll wrap this up.
Aye, let's get blocked. Fuck.
Let's get blocked
This is
again.
good. I really enjoyed this. We'll have to do it again.
The second coming. The last
We'll
time I
do it
met
again.
this man, I got blocked.
What time did we?
And you never been drunk in your life.
And I haven't been drunk since.
And him making the pledge too.
I know. Father fucking Richey there.
Please no.
Kids, be careful.
What? I left here.
Stay back.
It must have been 3 a.m. when I left
It
here.
was 5.
Was it 5?
On your Instagram, it was
It was
5.
5 years ago. That's right. Aye.
That's right. You were walking up.
You were fighting yourself.
Fucking
You were walking up a Tory lane arguing with fucking yeah.
And do you know what? Still didn't go past the graveyard. I still. I swear, I thought about it.
Hung a
I was
left,
like, nah.
sharp left.
Up to Micky's Hill, fuck it.
Oh, you went up to Micky's Hill?
Added 15 minutes to the journey in case the gypsies, or not the banshees.
I was a bit racialist there,
Was it?
Michael.
I don't know if it's a funny joke. I was thinking this recently, right? Is it funny how Americans think gypsies are people that put curses on you, and we just think they're 4 lads that don't adhere to the smoking rule? Like, no, we're gonna smoke inside.
Yeah. Class. So
Terrible xenophobic way to end.
it is a terrible. I want to.
Gypsy lives matter.
I want to try and think of something more positive to end on. Well,
Capitalism's gonna fall.
let's have a summary of where we are. So we're now, if you go from when it started in China, about 7-8 months into a fucking global pandemic that's killed hundreds of thousands. So that's good. We've got America is on fire, and a race war has started.
Uh-huh.
So that's awesome. I like that.
Again?
Again.
It's like OJ all over again.
Yeah. We're ruled by fucking retards.
Again?
Again.
Aye.
I read a
So
great. I read a great.
changed apart from we don't have to go to work. I like it.
I read a great tweet the other day. It said, "Now the British know what it's like to be ruled by the British."
And on that note,
On that note, we'll end it. Free Ireland. 32 county socialist republic the
Nelson
day after
Mandela.
tomorrow, please. Thank you very much.
also we have to get rid of Radgar for that to work, though, don't we?
Oh yeah, we'll have to get rid of Radgar, right? Yeah.
Harsh Tory.
But even them ones down south are fucking. They're ready.
Also, was he not supposed to be out by now? But
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
one of the things that,
Well, there was a ceasefire because of the pandemic.
aye, but that's been
So,
happening. You think of all the countries that have been hit worse by it have been right-wing conservative countries.
Yeah. Sweden. Well,
Sweden hasn't been hit bad. Sweden would like.
So I think Sweden got hit bad.
Well, they didn't even lock down, did they?
No.
And they were kind of all right though.
No,
I think.
they got. I mean, it's see a part of the argument. Go like so. I remember putting up a thing about saying how well New Zealand done and comparing it to what the UK had done. And a guy I know and I respect, and he's a cyclist friend of mine. He says, "Oh, but you can't compare the both. You can't compare New Zealand and the UK. There's completely different demographics, completely different
Infrastructure and
you know the." Like basically Wellington isn't fucking London, right?
Yeah.
So he said, well, okay, if that's an argument, and I said, well, I have to think about that one. Then compare like for like. So what do you compare? You compare Scandi countries together. So if you're going to use that argument, you can't compare the UK and New Zealand. You say, well, okay, accept that as an argument. Then let's do a compare and contrast among countries that are similar. So all the Scandi countries, Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, of all the countries. Of those 4, which one didn't go into lockdown? Sweden. Of those 4, which one has the highest infections and the highest deaths and everything else?
Yeah.
Sweden.
aye.
You know, so you can't compare Sweden to the UK. That's fair, but you can't compare it to Norway.
But is there something in just the amount of times they've fucked the numbers up? So I've heard someone tell me that, and I know that going someone told me this has already been ridiculed all over the world. But
Source!
Here, it worked for the Bible. Right? So, but I heard a story that in the States, for example, because it's all private healthcare, they're incentivized to include COVID or to diagnose people with COVID-19.
But that's because the American, when they passed the first bill or the second bill or whatever it was, weirdly enough, the Democrats were against it because they're even more right wing than the fucking Republicans, as far as I can see. They're horrible. But they included a package for the hospitals to cover people with COVID because initially they weren't going to. So because they have a highly capitalist financial health infrastructure, it might be it might be beneficial for these people to say, all right, you've got a fucking knee problem, COVID,
Aye.
because the government's going to pay.
But then what I've
But
also,
they're going to get paid anyway
but this is the
because
thing,
their insurance is going to pay for it.
But this is the thing. The thing that I also heard is that
Then there's for people that don't have insurance.
what they've been saying to a lot of people, and I think this is maybe in England as well, where because people they can't get them home or they can't do autopsies because there's more people dying.
Yeah.
They're basically going, are you happy enough for us to put COVID down as the cause of death? And people are agreeing to it, and then what they're not finding out is that their life insurance policies then cancelled and void
Because of the COVID?
because of COVID-19. And I heard this whenever do you remember when
It is cancelled?
it doesn't cover COVID basically. So someone's life insurance policy, they're agreeing to it, and months down the line they'll find out that their life insurance didn't cover. Well, not they won't find out, they'll be dead, but their loved ones will find out that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and apparently that happened with. Do you remember at the start when Boris Johnson had said he didn't close pubs? He just said don't go to them, and that for that reason, pubs and theatres couldn't claim insurance because they weren't actually forcibly closed, so they couldn't claim their.
Aye.
Their
Yes,
money,
that's right. Yes,
right?
yes.
And I was chatting to somebody who works in insurance, and they were like, "Well, that's nonsense because the insurance companies have said they're not going to cover them anyway."
Yeah.
Which brings in another whole conversation about why the fuck we're paying insurance.
Yeah.
Because if these companies are going, aye, but not that one.
Aye, they go
Because they
active
don't wanna
God,
pay
but
out.
not that active God.
Aye, yeah.
yeah.
So-
Well, exactly. But this is the hope. But again, this is another example of
Unless you can prove it's man-made.
a man-made active God. But this is another example of the complete mismanagement of this every step of the way, every
It's
single day.
capitalists have the power.
And then
Aye, exactly.
it's
And we'll accept it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
well, this is the thing. I mean, if you look at the countries that have dealt with this, China have actually dealt with this quite well. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not blowing smoke up China's hole or anything. Just it, but they have dealt with it, and they took a hit, but they've dealt with it quite well. And we know that they did certain things that they shouldn't have done, and all the rest of it, but they did deal with it quite well. Vietnam, communist country. South Korea, capitalist country. New Zealand, socialist country. Just newly socialist, by the way. So not, it's not. They're not up their necks in it, but it shows you that the economic system is almost. If you compare, if you're going to again compare and contrast, there's four almost completely different
Aye.
economic systems. Because South Korea is a capitalist, it's a full-blood capitalist country. They dealt with it. They sorted it out. They got it fixed. Their baseball's back open and everything. They're back to sports and big stadiums and all that sort of stuff, right?
What a great day for
So,
baseball.
It's not. It's
Get your hot dogs.
it's almost like the economic system is. It's actually if you're going to compare and contrast Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland, and compare those four countries, then the economic system is neither here nor there. It's just the intent.
Aye.
It's just the intent of the people that are in charge. What do we want to do? And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There's a conspiracy theory for you. Boris fucking Johnson and Dominic Cummings and all the rest of them, they said herd immunity from day one.
Yeah,
and
so
they've
that
completely
was the-
fucking mismanaged this.
Right.
I still think they meant that. They're still going down that route, but they're not telling us.
Aye.
Us and them.
That's
all
me.
that.
It's a little theory, it's a little weird, a little
But
bit out there for me.
every
But
choice that
Aye.
they've made or everything they've called out, it never directly affects them. It's everybody
Aye.
else.
I think there might be something in. Again, I don't know, but I've heard some was that Plandemic video? Have you heard much about that?
no.
And it was taken off YouTube, so immediately you go, "Why'd you do that?" Because now people are fucking convinced it's true. But and
Must be true.
I haven't even seen the whole thing yet, but in summation, it basically goes that there's a woman who she claims or talks about again capitalism. If you want to get a medical journal published, it has to basically toe the line of the rest of the medical journal, which is all bought and paid for. I'm drunk as fuck. This doesn't make sense, but so she's basically saying that if you say, for example, you go right, COVID-19 is a fucking man-made thing and it's no worse than a flu,
Right.
but that contravenes against the whatever the fucking
The medical
society, whatever.
establishment.
Aye, it won't even get published. So you have to toe the line to get something even published in the first place. And one of the things about that she has talked about is that when this is over, when lockdown's over, we've all now been sanitized from other diseases and colds and flus and shit like that you would get over the course of the year anyway.
Your immune system,
weakened.
has been weakened, yeah.
So we'll all go back into pubs, and then you'll now get COVID-19 and the flu and the cold and whatever else is going about.
Yeah.
and that'll fucking cause the second
Yeah,
move. Also, I'm drunk as shit and don't know what I'm talking about. So
let's say
I like to say, before I come up with any theories, I like to say I'm the worst person in the world because I'm drunk, angry, and ill-informed. So do not listen to me. I'm just going, I'm just devil's, you know, who knows? I don't know. You know?
we'll put that in the byline of this podcast. Mick's drunk as fuck and doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't listen to this.
It took him 35 minutes under the heat of the sun.
It's 23 degrees. You can't deal with it.
I said to my brother, he said, "Well, what's the temperature?" He says, "Dazzy, it's fucking 21 fucking degrees. I'm fucking Dan. I can't fucking. He lives in San Francisco.
Aye.
It's 100 fucking degrees over here."
Last time I was in Australia, it was 37 degrees 1 minute, and then it hit 38, and I went, that 1 degree.
Yeah.
You could feel the difference in it. I swear to God, you could feel the difference in a degree. You're like, fuck me, I'm eating it.
See, when you're out on the bike, for me, and that, when I go out on the bike, because you're moving, you have a cold breeze all the time. See and I don't mean 5 seconds after you stop, or 10 or 20 seconds. The second you stop, you just go,
Aye.
sweat, just goes, your body just goes, what the fuck? 21 degrees, 20 degrees, it's fuck all, really. And you think about this, in February it was 12 degrees. We're still wearing trousers and jumpers and walking around,
15, you're like, taps out!
It's 3 degrees.
I've had my legs out from fucking March. I've never
3 degrees of a
long
fucking
trousers since.
difference. And then we're talking about, if you talk about global warming, the seas are going to rise and all this. And so everyone's going to, you're going to be literally permanently living in 35 degrees.
Aye.
We're fucked.
Oh, I definitely. Also, we're a wee small island, so we'll be trading water most of the time anyway.
Did you see the map?
No, I did. I
Oh, the sea right, Lurgan's ground. Port of Ireland gets soaked, guys.
It was inevitable, for God's sake.
I
You see
know.
the lizards walking around there?
We're going to have to.
You laugh at the roundabouts,
We're going to the barricade at the Port of Ireland Road. Get the fuck.
That was the logic in the roundabout.
All the orange men's going to come down the Port Ireland Road in a boat. Fuck off.
Speaking of orange men, my dad came up with a fucking belter at one point during this. Because he's into the sort of...
We got to get your dad a fucking
Man,
podcast.
telling you.
That's going to be awesome.
If you could get him to talk in public, it'd be brilliant. But he's mad into the sort of, like, just the penalties we're going to pay after lockdown. So you can sort of argue for and against whether it was right or not, but at the end of it, we're going to be the ones footing the bill, basically.
Of course.
And he made a great point where he goes... For
What do you mean, the billionaires aren't going to be paying for this?
No, I don't think so.
All right,
I don't think so.
I thought that's what they... Okay.
I'll under ring one of them.
I thought they have all the money, so they should...
I know. It's as if it doesn't work. But my dad made a great point. He goes, you think of... Cause he's mad into this sort of fear project of the whole thing. He goes, you think about it. For 30 years, or 20 years since the end of the Troubles, whatever, every single July, there's a fucking riot somewhere about... You're not getting down this road. That's our traditional route. You're not getting down. It's our route.
Yeah.
And they're going, that's our route. And then he goes, one bad fucking flu goes about, and they're like, no, we're not going. Oh, you're right. And it'd be irresponsible to drag up 800 years worth of punishment.
But you know why? Because
Can't play the flute
in
with
the orange, no, because in the orange lodges, they've told them, said, the Fenians that give it you. Can't be going marching.
You're joking me?
That's what they've said. No.
Oh, thank God you are joking me.
Jesus, he was ready to go there.
Well, it must be that. It must be that. It's the only reason I can think of. Oh my God! Did you hear the? There was a great headline. I meant to save it in my fucking phone, and I thought I had. I laughed my ass off. It was a headline: Churches demand that the government lets them reopen because they don't like being told what to do.
You know what they also did that nobody picked up on? The closed Lourdes. Right? If there's ever been an admission of the Catholic Church, this shit doesn't work. It was the closed Lourdes before they cancelled the Olympics. If there has ever been a fucking time where they have gone, this doesn't work. Which, by the way, for any Protestants listening, that means you too.
Yeah. But
Don't be getting our water dirty.
I genuinely, I near had a fucking stroke. They didn't see the, and it was like the guy was quoted. He said, the government shouldn't be telling us what to do. That's what you do. That's all you do. What the fuck?
Aye, that George Carlin bit. He always needs money.
Yeah. God, yeah. He knows everything and he's everywhere, but he's always.
He's always got his hand out, doesn't he?
If you don't do what he says, you'll burn forever. But he loves you.
Make sure that envelope's filled.
Right, I think that's a good way to end this.
Thanks for having me.
No, let's do it again. Let's do it next week or something if you're about.
Get your dad down to fucking mad crack.
Here, try and talk him into it. I dare you.
Aye. Okay, so everybody, that was the Andy that's in. That camera has moved. That might be different. I've had a few beers by now. I'm pretty
Sunstroke. Grand.
sunstroke and yeah. This isn't. Fuck this. Okay, so we're gonna call this.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No bother.
Again.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming, Michael.
Anytime. Thanks for the beers.
Brilliant. So okay, everybody. It's Andy. It's in the Bonnevilles podcast. I think this is number 18. I was supposed to drop another one before this about the Michael Moore travesty of a documentary.
That was
I was
shite.
looking forward to that second one because the first one was
Very good. But then now his documentary's been pulled off YouTube, and there's this whole conspiracy that they're trying to silence him. The truth is, the documentary was horseshit.
It was shite, actually. I watched that one.
It was out of date. All the information was out of date. That the green industry hasn't been co-opted by capitalism. I agree with that. Of course it has. Everything gets co-opted by capitalism.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. But don't be fucking just using out of date information to say solar panels don't work when they fucking do. But anyway, we'll get there the next time. So here we go. That's us done. Cheerio.
See you in a bit.
thanks.
Wash your hands.
Adios.
Wash your hands.